it's Brianna with Bre'sBooks here to do another book tag for you. You may be wondering, Brianna, you don't have books behind you. Why are you sitting in front of your DVD case? And I will tell you, it's because my lovely dog, Kiva, decided to have an accident in my library where I keep all my bookshelves. So, very sad, but until I get that cleaned up and get the smell out, I kind of wanted to film somewhere else. So, let's see how this goes. So this is the My Books book tag. This was created by Tio's Books, and I was tagged by Pickle Hearts Books. So thank you so much for tagging me and creating this tag, and let's get started. It's a pretty short, easy tag. It's just 8 questions. Question number 1 is, what is your favorite romance book? And I don't read like a lot of books categorized as just romance, but I picked a book that contains one of my favorite couples. And it is The Iron Queen by Julie Kagawa. This is the 3rd book in her Iron Fae series. There's 4 books, and then there's also a spin-off series that's going to be 3 books, I believe. And I really love the romance between Megan and Ash, 2 of the main protagonists in this series, and it is wonderful and great. And you guys should check it out if you like fantasy. Question 2 is, what is your favorite sci-fi book? And again, I really don't read sci-fi normally. I only have like 1 book that I could really think of that was sci-fi, but it probably would still be my favorite, and that is The Host by Stephenie Meyer. It is a great book. I don't care what you think of Stephenie Meyer, she did really well with this one. And it is about aliens and like the end of the world, sort of. And so I count it as sci-fi, and it also has a great romance. Question 3 is, what is your favorite YA book? Now, everybody knows this question is impossible. Even if like it's not your favorite book, favorite YA book is still like way too many books to choose from. So I just chose one of my favorites that I wasn't already going to be mentioning in this video, and I chose Unspoken by Sarah Rees Brennan. This is the 1st book in the Lynn Byrne Legacy trilogy. I just finished the last book last month, a couple months ago. I think it was last month. I read it and finished the trilogy, and it was so good. This first one specifically is one of my favorites because it sort of caught me off by surprise. The characters were just so witty and funny, and the main protagonist especially, she was just cracked me up the entire book, and I loved it, and it was different than I was expecting, and I ended up really liking it. Question 4 is, what is your favorite series of all time? And again, I don't have one top series because my moods change like the wind or whatever, but I chose a book from one of my favorite series, and it is Tiger's Voyage by Colleen Houck. This is the 3rd book in her Tiger's Curse series. I really love it. These covers are gorgeous. Question 5 is, what book could you read over and over? And if you guys have been on with me for any length of time, you might have seen this already. Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine, a retelling of Cinderella that blows all of the retellings out of the water, in my opinion, and winner of the Newbery Honor Award, apparently. Probably other things by now, too. I know I've read this several times. I don't know how many, I lost count, but I've read it several times already, and I know I will be reading it many more throughout my lifetime and my children's and grandchildren's lifetimes. It is a great, fun, I believe it's considered middle grade, fairy tale story, and it is wonderful. Question 6 is, what book cover is the prettiest in your opinion? And like a lot of these questions, there's too many to choose from, so I just chose a couple that I really liked recently. Some of the books I already showed you were definitely fall into that category of prettiest covers, like the Iron Fae series and the Tiger's Curse series. Both those series covers I love with all my heart, but to avoid redundancy, I chose a couple of others. Magonia by Marie Devana Headley and A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. These are both just the ARC covers, which are beautiful. Can't argue with that. But the finished covers are even more beautiful. They have the like sort of glossy, satiny, like metallic-y look to them. And so imagine this, but even more awesome. pretty covers for sure. Question 7 is, what book cover tricked you into reading the book but turned out to be not what you expected? I couldn't think of an answer for this question. I couldn't think of a book that ended up being different than what I read on the jacket. I'm going to pass on this one. Question number 8 is, what is your favorite children's or middle grade book? So, in the pursuit of fairness, I chose one middle grade and one children's book to show you. I have many more, but one of my favorite children's books is Fox and Socks by Dr. Seuss. This is probably my favorite Dr. Seuss book because it's all about tongue twisters stuff, and I've read this so many times. It's great. If you haven't tried to read this aloud, I definitely recommend it. It's really difficult unless you've done it a lot like me, and I haven't done it in a long time, so it would probably still be really hard, but I absolutely love this book. It is hilarious and funny and hard for your tongue, but good exercise. And one of my favorite middle grade books is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. This is the second book, I guess, in the Chronicles of Narnia series, depending on which version, series edition you have. Sometimes they're in a different order, but in my edition, this is the second book, and I believe I watched the animated cartoon movie of this before I read the book. I don't remember for sure, but I feel like I watched that first. And this is just such a beautiful story. I love it so much. It just has happy, nostalgic feels when I think of this story, so that's what I picked. So these are all the books I talked about in this tag. Let me know down below if you read any of these, or if you have any different or similar answers to the questions I answered in this tag. I will go ahead and tag Shelf Life Extension and Eclectic Aficionado. You two should do this tag if you haven't already. It's pretty easy, pretty short. I think I can already imagine what some of your answers will be, but I am looking forward to seeing your videos if you end up doing this. And for the rest of you, I'll see you in my next video.